Well refined, as you can see.
Well refined.
My colleague over here has been refining his British accent for about 27 years now, so you can tell it's on point. Yeah.
It's a bloody mess. So diving right into it, man, we've had a lot of cool new things, but everybody launched in the last little while, but everybody's been anxious to see what's going to be coming out as far as HDMI 2.1 monitors go.
Oh, yeah. We can't wait for these.
Yeah. So we've all been kind of wanting to see, you know, what companies are going to put out there for these next gen consoles. But I do have to say that it's not all about like refresh rate and not all about next gen consoles, because there are, and like we talked about earlier, there are technologies built into HDMI 2.1 that are getting better, otherwise known as DSC. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Variable refresh rate, that's getting better. So there's plenty of topics out there and technologies that come with HDMI 2.1 that are getting built upon from HDMI 2.0. I did a full video on it. I know it's a bit boring, but it's chocked full of actual content. Like
very informative.
specs.
Yeah, very interesting.
And it's meant to be that way, so you can go to a particular headline and hear about what those benefits are for you. So kind of getting into it, what was released in CES 2021, we have from Asus or Asus.
I prefer Asus. You might go with Asus.
Yeah. Asus, Asus, same thing. We have the Strix XG43UQ. Now, that is obviously a 43-inch 4K 120 hertz plus with HDR 1000.
HDR 1000. Dang.
Yeah. So essentially, we've heard about this, and I did a little bit of a video on it when I was talking about HDMI 2.1 monitors. This is a hybrid. It's between a TV and it's between a monitor. So they're actually utilizing a 43-inch TV to create this display. And it's probably going to be well over $1,000.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I could easily see that for sure. I mean, when you look at the fact that it's basically the size of a standard TV, but it's got all the gaming specs built into it. Yeah. 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 That's going to be $1,000 plus easily.
Yeah. They don't make a TV that's 120 hertz right now. That's 43 inch.
Right.
I should specify that.
Sure. Yes.
Right now. And if there is, it's so obscure, nobody knows about it. So this is going to be not necessarily new to the market, but definitely new as far as having that capability of 120 hertz plus on a current generation piece of technology that will utilize HDMI 2.1.
Right.
So pretty cool, but it might be kind of getting into that territory of almost too big.
Be a little spendy and a little big.
Yeah,
right.
And it's going to be really spendy. It's going to be the price of like the LG CX. So I don't know. I might go CX at a 48-inch as opposed to that. We'll have to wait and see.
Sure, right. I mean, if it's as good and just a little bit bigger and you're already going that big anyway and you have the space to accommodate it, why not?
Why not?
It's proven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next up is going to be Asus Swift PG32QU. And this is supposed to be a pretty solid monitor here at 133 hertz. It's a 4K panel, of course. And there's some other features built in. 98% coverage of the DCI-P3 color scale.
Huge.
So
yeah, that's really good.
HDR 600.
So a little lower on the HDR.
A little lower than the other one, but again, I think it has a lot to do with the brightness and the panel that they use. You know, the 43-inch, they're utilizing like a TV technology panel,
right?
Which is usually much, much brighter
for sure
than what a monitor is. I'm not seeing here whether it's like IPS or VA. I'll tell you why I think it's IPS though. I believe that this is the same LG panel as the one we're about to talk about here in a second. So I believe this is going to be an IPS, which has decent, you know, good viewing angles. Actually, really good viewing angles for what it is. So, yeah, I'm probably going to be better as far as that goes. In gaming features wise, I'd probably rather go this route than a 43-inch.
Sure.
That 43 is a little big.
Yeah, more practical, more usable, especially on a desktop space that you would be more likely to be using it in.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
Right. And is that a G-Sync, FreeSync?
G-Sync.
Compatible? G-Sync. Very nice. All right.
Which, again, variable refresh rate, G-Sync, work hand in hand. You're going to be able to utilize that later on with other technologies in consoles. So next one up is the Asus TUF Gaming VG28UQL1A.
Ooh, that's a mouthful.
Yes. I'm going to put a list of these down below. You guys can check that out. This guy is from Asus. It's their TUF lineup. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan of their TUF lineup.
Sure.
You know, their TUF is supposed to be kind of their entry level gaming gear. So it's supposed to, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You still kind of pay a premium because it is gaming gear.
Sure. Certified to be a gaming monitor rather than just a monitor. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So that being said, I've not really had great luck with the TUF lineup, and I have tested out one or two of their monitors. I've tested out some of their motherboards, things like that, and they've just never been as good as going with, like I've used some other MSI products for monitors. I've used LG UltraGear. It's worked better. I've used the Samsung Odyssey. It's been better. I've used the MSI or the Predator monitors. Those have been better. So I'm kind of interested to see where this goes. But it is a 4K 144 hertz monitor with HDMI 2.1. So I definitely want to mention it.
Sure. Those are all impressive specs. Obviously, it's something to take notice of.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
The problem is it's that HDR 400.
Right.
So you're definitely getting like an entry level HDR capability. You're going to be looking at, it's not going to be as bright. HDR is not going to be as vivid. And in fact, it may not even reach that billion shades of color. It's probably only going to reach that 16.8 million shades of color. So maybe an 8-bit color depth, not 10-bit.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So you're definitely taking some sacrifices there.
For sure. But if the HDMI 2.1 is really important to you and you're on a budget and maybe spending $600 or $700 or $800 or even $900 is more feasible than spending $1,200 or $1,300 or $1,400 on a monitor, then it might be a good buy. Yeah,
this is that monitor, that Asus, is probably going to be somewhere around the $500 mark, $550. I would be a little surprised if it was $600 because that, again, that's pretty hefty.
Sure.
Especially because it's a 28 inch.
28 inch, a little bit smaller than the one before, being the 32.
Yeah, it's not a 32 inch. It's definitely not a 43.
For sure.
So I would imagine, again, like 550.
So that was going to be more the budget friendly option.
Totally.
Yeah. Good deal.
So the next one on the line is the Acer Nitro XB282K. I'm a pretty big fan of the Nitro product lines. 27, 28 inch monitor, going to be HDMI 2.1, obviously 4K resolution, higher refresh rate, so 144 hertz. So, you know, it's going to be a value, but the problem is, and they don't give us a ton of information here with this, but it says it's going to be available in May. But it's going to cost $899.
Ooh, that's a lot to pay for a monitor, for sure.
That is ridiculous, man. Like, again, going back to HDMI 2.1 is the same exact port, newer, right? Newer hardware. And it's only a licensing fee that they're paying additional. How are they getting away with charging $899? They must have something on this monitor that they're not telling us.
Yeah.
And I need to maybe do a little more research on that, but there's no reason this should cost $899.
Right.
For like a 27 inch.
No, yeah, it just seems a little exorbitant for the size of it. You know, if it were a 34 or 37 inch widescreen or ultra wide, or if it were 40 or 42 or 3, then I could see that.
You know, if it was like over 100% DCI-P3 and like 125% sRGB scale and this ridiculous contrast ratio, phenomenal, I would pay $900 to $1,000 for it.
Then you think it would be worth it for that size?
Yeah.
As long as it had all those features.
Yeah, pretty much. Otherwise, it's like, why do it, man? Don't.
Yeah,
don't do it.
It's a harder sell for sure, especially compared to the LG UltraGear, compared to, you know, like you said, the Predator series, which is already well known to be really good.
Yeah, they're well known. It's their higher performance brand for gaming or model lineup. So why, right? Which brings me to my next point, which is the LG UltraGear 27 GP950. This is probably my favorite monitor in this lineup right now. I am a bit biased because I have the 27 GN850, which is the 1440p version from 2020. And they do have the GN950 from 2020 without HDMI 2.1. And that thing got killer reviews. It's out there. people can buy that monitor right now, the GN950.
Sure.
The problem is it doesn't have HDMI 2.1. So what we're seeing is this guy is going to follow a lot of the same lines, 160 hertz, where you can overclock it. It's an IPS panel, 1 millisecond pixel response time, HDR 600, 98% coverage of DCI-P3. And that's about all they did share with us. And there's no available price currently. But what I can imagine, I believe this monitor is currently about $799.
Okay.
So I would imagine it's going to be somewhere around that.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it was $899, I'd probably still take it over the Nitro monitor.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. So a lot to think about, you guys. Again, I'm going to put that down in the comments below so you can check it out. But a lot of fun stuff, coming in the way of HDMI 2.1. So yeah. Hey, thanks for watching this clip, you guys. We go live every Thursday at 9 p.m. So if you want to check out more, we cover these awesome topics every Thursday at 9 p.m. So hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can see when we go live, and definitely leave some feedback. What do you think of this clip? Was it worth your time? Was it informative? Did it help you out in any way? If not, what can we do in order to help you out? What are some of the topics you're looking for so we can add them into our discussion on Thursdays and into our videos moving forward? All right, you guys, thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day.